Better. All right, I have Harry Zahlis here from Fresno State. And Harry, can you give us your full title and some background on what you do and where you've been?
Sure. Again, Harry Zahlis. I am currently I'm the interim director of client services at Fresno State. Um, I manage all of the technicians that are on campus. We call them liaisons to all the colleges and divisions, and I also manage our service desk. I've been at Fresno State. Oh, it'll be 7 years in August. Prior to that, I was at Fresno City College for almost 19 years. Well, it was 19 years. Um, and Was responsible for the computer network there, wired, wireless, security. Uh, yeah, pretty much all of that stuff. Uh, and so I saw a lot grow while I was there. Prior to that, I spent almost 10 years in local government, where I worked in the city manager's office, the police chief's office, and did all the technology out there. When it came to fruition, one of my first jobs there as an intern was comparing uh, um, uh, quotes for or proposals for the first desktop computers that were put on the secretary's desks and on everybody's desks. So been around technology for a while. Seen a lot come and go. Um, uh, yeah, and uh, learning something new every day.
Do you
So
miss the networking because you're on desktop more, or do you get to still do a lot of
I
networking?
am I thoroughly enjoy working with the people.
Okay.
Um, I think, I mean, ultimately, I'm a people person, as you know. So working with the people is, I think, fun. I enjoyed working with technology and coming up with solutions and helping people, especially in higher ed. Um, uh, Keeps you young for certain, but seeing the fruits of your labors when people graduate and go on and start their own careers, that's been wonderful. And so no, I don't miss the networking. Um, it's good to have that knowledge and understanding. Um, and I think that's where when you've got over, almost 30 years experience in technology, um, having that growth or evolution from playing with BBSs all the way to where we're at today. Um, it certainly has a strong foundation to build on.
So you got young students are coming up. They're working on all sorts of stuff, even from desktop support all the way up to networking to some cybersecurity. Um, and they want to get, it's young Harry. What would you tell young Harry nowadays to get to where you are? Certifications, skills, industry knowledge, what are the demands? How does that person raise? How does somebody coming out of a community college, coming out of Fresno State, coming out of someplace, what do they need to get to
Well,
where you are or in the system?
if I was going to tell young Harry, I'd tell him to go to ArcGIS and deal with data sets and things like that and mapping, because to me, that's super cool, far out in Nito. But I think what's different from those of us that have been around for a long time is we were a jack of all trades, master of none. And now you can't really do that. You really have to be specialized. If you really want to be successful, you want to make some good money, um, you really need to pick a focus of what really drives you. So that's what I would tell myself or students now is take a lot of intro classes, figure out what you like, um, find out where your passion is, whether it's helping people with their computers, whether it's programming applications, whether it's creating networks or security. I think the irony is you kind of have to have a breadth of knowledge in all of those things to be any good at one of them, I think. Um, So really, it's the conversation I would have is, what are you interested in? If you want to be in technology, um, what aspects of it do you find interesting or challenging that you want to do that becomes not work or a job, but a labor of love? Um, you got
Any certificates that are important you see coming up? You see a kid, young kid coming up, has XYZ certificates. I know that doesn't get them the job, but it makes you feel a little easier when you turn them loose on certain things. Is that still true?
So I think so. Knowing that so I guess I'm going to answer this two ways. If you're a student who just memorized stuff, took the test, passed the test, and then completely forgot it in a week and a half, you're no good. You're not going to help me. If you studied and you understand the concepts that are behind that, and you took the test and you passed it, you're going to be better. And I
Okay.
think what I would tell students today, you know, there's a lot of ways to get the answer that might be on a test. But if you didn't learn the right way, when it comes to being in the real world and having your first job or you're in your career, um, you may knowing how to fix things is kind of important, you know.
Yeah.
You just can't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So would you tie into that, that an internship after your certifications tends to really increase your
So
inward mobility into technology worlds?
you have to have an internship. If you're a student, you need to find an internship, and faculty need to help them. Faculty can make some of those relationships that they have to find and help students find those internships. Um, I think that there's two reasons why that's important, probably more than that, but the ones I can think of. Um, that internship is going to give you hands-on knowledge, okay? What
Yes.
you're going to learn in your classroom from your instructors are going to be book knowledge, theory, those sort of things. What you're going to learn from an internship is how it's applied. And if you go through 2 years at a community college or 4 year, get all the way to your 4 years, get your bachelor's degree and graduate, and you don't have any hands-on experience, you're going to be behind, and you're going to be, it'll be, uh, employment is not going to be easy. You have to have experience. And so it, one of the things that I did at Fresno, our city of Sanger, when I worked there, Fresno City College, when I worked there, and Fresno State, we hire students and we give them the hands-on experience that they need. So we have student assistants that work throughout our uh, uh, division in programming, in security, in student assistants, help with the liaisons that are out working and delivering computers and helping people. So you can get that internship even working at the college that you're going to and attending. Um, but you really need to get that hands-on experience. Um, I mean, build your own computer. That will teach you some things too.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
uh, my son did that. He built actually both of my sons did that, built their own computers and everything. And they did Nick did all the study for it, did all the research for it, knew which parts he wanted, uh, asked me for my help. And when we got time to put it together, I sat back and watched. He did it.
Mhm.
But you've got to have that level of experience if that's where you're going to be. Um, yeah.
What about emerging tools? Do you see any tools that are coming up students should be proficient in?
Well, obviously you've got AI. I
Yeah.
think artificial intelligence is here to stay. It is you can find you would depending on you've got to be really good at prompting to get the correct information that you want. Um, but you have to be careful about the biases, both in how you ask those questions and the language model behind it, um, to make sure that you're getting the information you need.
Because they will hallucinate. Because if they don't know the answer, they make it up.
Yeah. And you've got to, and if you're going to use those tools, and I'm not saying don't use AI, but you better be smart enough to realize when you're not getting the right answer.
Yeah,
Because
amen.
if you turn it in and that's just going to come back and bite you in the butt.
Or if you change some code and you think, oh, this is it, you better make sure when it
Test it,
says delete C colon, you don't want to delete
format
anything.
C:, yes. I
Yeah,
mean, the old adage, measure twice and cut once.
100%. You're right. That's good. And we already kind of talked about the AI component in the workplace. I think you along with everybody else I've interviewed kind of said, I kind of feel like we're on the cusp of AI, and where it goes, we're going to have to ride the wave some way or another. It's kind of like when Windows rolled out back in 95. We didn't know really where it was going to go, and we were teaching Office applications because people didn't know how to use it. I don't know really where ChatGPT is going to land, or Gemini or Copilot. Um, we're going to have
Well,
to be smart about it.
I what I'm fearful of is we didn't learn anything about social media,
Oh, yeah. We're horrible
and
about that.
fools rush in.
Yep.
And I think there was a huge rush to get AI pushed out there. And it's an important tool, and I think it's going to be a game changer. I look at this more of, um, DOS to Windows type of change.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so I think we have to be careful with it. And I worry about the ethics behind it, and I worry about the bias behind it, because that's only going to be as honest as the person who's using it.
And the
And
nice thing is we have one of our cybersecurity classes is ethical hacking, but it's also talking about cybersecurity and the ethical part of it, trying to make sure kids know that, because after Windows hit, everybody had it, and then we had the Napster generation and the virus generation, and it got totally out of hand.
yeah,
So
and I'm going to call them kids today.
no,
They
we
didn't
both
live through
can.
that, you
I know.
know,
I
they
know.
didn't live through that. So they don't know, what happened. I'll give you a story. My daughter, my stepdaughter had a friend who got her to open up a file on my computer at home. This goes back to 1990s, that changed all of my doc files, Excel files, and everything to BAT. And so every file on my computer, I had to go back through and figure out what was the extension that should have been. Now it's kind of organized. It didn't take me that long, but I pulled that little boy aside and I put my hand around his neck and I told him, if you ever doing this again, you and I are going to have a problem. And I told him, I said, what you did was a felony, and it was a federal felony, because he
Mhm.
had sent it to her in an email and she downloaded it and installed it. So it traveled wherever it went on the network, which I'm sure was out of state, which then
Yeah.
made it a federal crime. So, and that's the other thing that I think I can't get this across enough about the ethics in computer usage, and how students today, how they use it and what they want to use it for. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, you do something that is unethical and it bites you. I mean, that can have dramatic.
There's copyright implications too that they have to be totally aware. Our English and art, they're just up in arms, and I agree with
Well,
them in some aspects.
it's intellectual property.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
At
is.
the end of the day, if you're using things that belongs to someone else and you don't cite it, it's intellectual property.
You're right.
And you will get busted. I know that a lot of the colleges are now coming out with their AI policies and working on implementing it into their pedagogy and implementing it into their syllabus, and doing those sort of things to try and let students know. We just had an AI immersion workshop at Fresno State last week, and it went very well. We had people there from Google, we had people there from OpenAI. We had my favorite was, we had an author there who was a columnist for Rolling Stone, New York Times. He was an editor for the Psychology Today. Had a really great, and he went through what he uses and how he uses Chat GPT in his everyday routine. And it's not to write his papers, It's to get feedback for what he's written. So
Mhm.
it's a tool. Use it correctly, or it will bite you in the butt.
100%. Do you see any trends or future directions next 3 to 5 years in cybersecurity and networking and desktops that these kids need to be aware of? I say
Well,
kids, but they are kids.
I think they're kids. They're younger
Young
than
stu young students.
young students, younger than me students. Um, Security is going to continue to be the thing that kicks our butt. I see it at state, and the other thing that doesn't help us is Apple and Windows, when they build their operating systems or their hardware, it is a commodity and it only lasts for so long. And it's getting to the point now, it used to be that you lost a hard drive or had to change a battery in your laptop, you just have a couple of screws, pull it out, change it, and you're good to go. Now those things in memory are getting soldered onto the motherboard. So now when those break, you're basically, it becomes a brick.
Buying a
And
new computer.
yeah, and so software, we're going through this at state right now. Windows 10 to Windows 11. Windows 11 needs a different encryption module on the motherboard. And if it doesn't meet that module, I can't put Windows 11 on it and continue to get updates. So we have a litany. I mean, we have hundreds of computers that we have to replace because of that. So sec all around saying security is starting to drive some of the economics, and it's getting more and more to where you have to accept risk in places that you might not want to because you don't have the funding or the money to be able to do what needs to be done. So I think security will continue to be a is going to be difficult because you've got hackers. I mean, people are trying
Great.
to get to your stuff all the time,
Yeah.
and um, whether it's through phishing, whether it's through smishing, whether it's through um, you know, just trying to hack into your router or whatever. Um, and you've got to be smart about that. And so I think certainly uh, uh, security programming, being able to program different,
A variety of languages, am I correct?
what's that?
A variety of languages
Yeah,
programmed in?
you definitely, or the other thing too is like Salesforce, PeopleSoft, those sort of things, being able to program for there. Now, PeopleSoft, they've changed a lot. And if you know PeopleSoft, you can make a ton of money right now, but it's going away.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things to where you ride the end, and then you can make some good money, but um, eventually you're gonna have to retrain. And I guess that's the other thing. The only thing that's constant is change, and you're gonna have to keep up with your technology. You know, I saw when I was at Fresno City College, we replaced our switches 3 times, 4 times really. And in each one of those, it was learning a new system, new service. And uh, that's why I like dealing with people.
Yeah.
I want to have to keep learning.
Some of them need updating, but it's okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, they need a reboot.
Recommendations for, and I'm not putting you on the spot, but for partnerships or internships, do you know out in your area or around you or people that are in contact with taking interns type of students that really want to get in and just maybe spend 40 hours over a semester just shadowing somebody?
So this is not going to be popular, but you got to get out of Fresno.
Yeah.
Um, Fresno just does not have the technology you need if you want to compete on a global scale.
Yeah.
You, as students, you have to put your net out there and look, be willing to work over a summer and move out of Fresno. Um, you can get some really good internships, but they're very competitive. Um,
Hmm.
my son Nick, his junior year, the summer after his junior year, between junior and senior year, he got an internship at Lockheed Martin. Um,
Awesome.
and that they paid to move him out, paid his housing, and paid really great wages. Um, those are hard to find, but I would tell anybody who's working in programming, computer science, computer engineering, don't be afraid to throw your resume to Boeing, to Lockheed Martin, to any of the defense contractors, really.
Yeah.
Uh, those will get you some great experience and they look great on a resume. Short of that, talk to your IT division departments at the school that you're at. See if you can get a paid internship, a paid gig. If you're on financial aid, a lot of times they'll have federal work study to where you can get paid so many hours a semester. So look into that if you don't have uh, a job lined up. And lastly, don't be afraid to volunteer. When I worked for the city of Sanger when I was graduating, I was willing to volunteer just because I knew I needed experience. When I graduated from Fresno State, I needed experience. So I was willing to do it for free. Fortunately, they paid me minimum wage, which wasn't a whole lot compared to today, but it paid for the gas to get out there and ultimately set up the job that I had. A lot of times, too, an internship is a job interview. Okay, so if you get those internships, you need to treat it very seriously, because when they have an opening and you apply for it, if all you did was show up and didn't help and joked around and didn't do the work, or did the work but you half-assed it, they're not going to give you a second look if a job position comes open. So anytime you get an internship, look at it as a job interview.
That's awesome, Harry. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to talk about traits, employee traits, characteristics. What are you looking for? Let's say you were at the ground level and you might get to hire somebody, or you're on a hiring committee, or even when you're at city and stuff like that. If you're taking entry level worker in, what are you looking for? Not so much the certifications and stuff like that. What characteristics?
So, I've always said I can teach you technology. You can learn technology. What you bring to the table is your soft skills, your ability to communicate and communicate well, communicate constantly, keep your customer well informed of what's going on. When it's, if they opened up a ticket and you can't get to it until Tuesday, you tell them I can't get to it until Tuesday, but you communicate. So communication. And I'll be quite honest, I think everybody's head in the sand looking at their phone and social media and playing all that. I think it's taken away from the soft skills of being able to have a conversation with someone and be able to communicate well. So communication, you got to have that. Critical thinking, you got to think out of the box. And I know that's kind of a cliche, but if you don't have something if your computer's not working or it's not doing what you want it to do, being able to critically look at it and come at that problem in different directions. So problem solving and critical thinking, those are important too. And then I'm going to come back to ethics. All right.
Yeah.
When you work in technology, you are going to have access to things that not everyone has, that you shouldn't go poking around in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, when I was at Fresno City College and I was a network guy there, I had God mode on every server I had access to everything. Right. You can't go looking at that stuff. You just got to leave it alone. Not that you necessarily have time. I never had time to do that, which that's the other part. But I will tell you, I have fired people straight up for breaking that, because the minute your employer can't trust you, you're done. You're gone. And
do you see that as a gap maybe in the hiring process right now, or what we're training? Because it sounds like that's a bigger process.
I think
It's a problem now.
I think the kids need to understand that decisions you make, as benign as you think they are when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, if you get a job and they go to do a security check, all that stuff's going to come up, and that could get in the way of the career path that you choose or want to take.
True.
So I think making good and ethical choices is imperative. Because if you don't, like I said, it could bite you in the butt.
And you got to hustle right out of the get-go too, right? I see some students that get the job, but then they want to go, Mr. Zahlis, how do I do this? Mr. Zahlis, how do I do this? Have some
Right.
initiative without going over the deep end.
No, no, no. Hey, I would rather you ask me questions. And I tell, look, don't try, if you don't know, ask a question. I think that's also important. I've never met anyone who had all the answers.
Amen.
Never. So don't pretend you do either.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if you don't know a question or you don't know the answer to something, ask it. Because the more you know, the better, and the more you learn, the better you're going to be at what you want to do. And I've worked with some brilliant people that knew a lot, and I asked questions all the time. And that's how I got to have a lot of the knowledge that I have, was by asking questions. Um, Posers will show up and they'll be found out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think um, communication ethics, um,
Work ethic.
work ethic, show up, be there. Um, I used to laugh or tell people my job duties, they all fell in, and other related duties is assigned, because there's a lot of time where job descriptions were ancient and you just did what you thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately, I think, what it is. Do what you think is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think communication ethics, strong foundation of what I'm thinking of. Well, being able to communicate, what
Yeah.
I'm stammering on. But yeah, it's a holistic thing. Um,
I sent you a link in your chat, and you can see it's all our classes listed, and I'm going to refer to one class down there. It's called IS 66. It says it's a 3-unit course. It's called Office and Customer Skills for Technician. Now, basically, it's communication. I'm thinking about changing that to a 3-unit course, because it's not so much the customer skills we need, but we're also finding out, I'm seeing that a lot of kids will just they don't know how to go assert themselves. They don't know how to network. They don't know how to, okay, find somebody who's out there, get your feet going. I mean, this is an old reference like an old Fred Flintstone, get your feet going and move, and then the car's going to move eventually. I'm thinking of adding a 1-unit, adding an extra unit to make it 3 units. Probably change the name, because it's kind of hard to understand. But it's basically customer service from a technician standpoint. But we're going to get you in that 1 unit. I'm thinking about the first part of the class being taught by our career people, because they're going to help you, interview questions. Because it's not like the old days where we all had summer jobs and we knew how to do it, and we didn't want to work in the peaches anymore. So we worked real hard and we dressed up for the interviews, and I was at Wild Waters, and we knew this. But some of the students are coming out and they're like, okay, what do I need to do?
well, I think you're 100% correct. And I think the other thing, the pandemic, it really changed a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed students in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to, if you can take a class online and, sit in your bunny slippers and earn a bachelor's degree or an AA degree, that's great. But when you have to get out and interview and have a conversation, that's not so much. So what I would look at organizations that are out there that you can join that may give you some of those skill sets, being able to public speak.
Postmasters.
Well, Toastmasters, but even, I'm going to plug my own organization here.
Yes, I want you to, because it's wonderful.
Yeah. So I've been active in the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, which is a service organization for young women between the ages of 11 and 20. And this is an organization that is run by the girls. They vote on what service projects they want to do. They vote on what fundraising they want to do. They vote on what activities they want to do. And they public speaking skills. They learn a little bit about Robert's Rules of Order, which if you're any type of organization,
Oh boy.
that's voting and whatnot. That's an important skill to know.
35 years ago, it was a shock to me. Who's Roberts and what's his rules? I mean,
Rules, yeah.
I can't just table everything.
Yeah, well, I come into every meeting going, motion to adjourn. And if we get a second, I'm out of there. But this organization, and then they have $50,000 or $60,000 a year in college scholarship for young ladies. My daughter got two of them. She got $6,000 in scholarship because of this organization. So there are organizations that are out there for young men and women that will teach you to stand up and speak. I was wearing a tie when I was 14 years old. So by the time I was in high school applying for jobs, it was no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I think. So there's that side, but then you can also call me, I'm an old dude and I'm a, whatever. And there's some truth to that because how kids today are working, how they communicate, how they get points across. It is different. They do texting. I mean, nobody emails in that generation anymore. But that's still how business reacts. And
that's one thing I'm seeing is I have this great lecture at the beginning of one of my classes. I said, you know how to send people texts, you know how to use social media, and all those are going to get you fired when you cross over the workforce.
yeah,
Because
well,
you're going to be dealing
son,
with people like you and I at different levels that don't really adhere to all that stuff.
right. And so one of the beauties, I think, and you would agree, working in higher ed, it keeps you young. And I love it. I mean, I couldn't have thought of a better job than higher education and whatnot. But it's like my son Nick, when he goes to work, he doesn't get to take his phone in. Okay. It's outside, so there's a whole, gosh, I'm 1,200 days from retiring. So, but who's counting?
No, not you.
Yeah, not me. But in some ways it's so exciting what the future holds for students today, but it's terrifying at the same time because
Yes, it is.
The world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And computer science, computer engineering, it's changing exponentially. And yeah.
Keep going. Well, before we end this, because we'll talk after I stop recording here, but I think we really did a very good job. Is there anything else you'd want to add at the very end that I didn't ask you or didn't cover? I think we've covered everything from a singer to City College to here to networks to security to what is the favorite? I got a question for you. What's the favorite part of your job?
Got a lot of favorite parts of my job. I have a team that works for me that makes my job easy. They are dedicated professionals who are just wonderful. I have 23 direct reports, and they are good people. They work their butts off, and so that is probably my biggest one.
Interacting with people, because that's kind of been the theme of your whole thing is interaction.
Yeah. I've been an extrovert all my life with some tendencies to be an introvert too.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've learned to keep my mouth shut. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But
Not a Zahlis.
yeah.
We're gonna wait before we stop recording before we talk all those stories.
Yeah. So I mean, and really, it's truly I love working with the students.
Awesome.
It's fun to we have a young lady who works in our office, and she's already got her bachelor's degree. She's working on her master's, and there was a meeting that she got called into, and it was all managers and her and sitting around the table. And she made the comment to the manager that she works for that she didn't understand why she was at the table. That, you know, she's just a student, and that she did, you know, in front of the manager, she didn't know whatever. And I told the manager, I said, I'm going to talk to her. And I went out, I called her outside. I said, look, if you've been invited to a meeting, you are on equal footing with everyone in that meeting. If you have an idea, express it. Okay, because you may be seeing things that we don't. And everybody's input is important, which, and I don't mean to get political here, but that's the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. You want people on your team from different areas and different perspectives, different countries, different whatever, because that's how you get the best decision. And so, and that's what I told this young lady. I said, don't ever feel that you're an imposter. Go into a meeting like you own the place and just listen. And when you've got some good perspective, share it. And that's what I would tell any student. And if you're wrong, okay, it's okay to be wrong, because you'll learn more from your mistakes than you do your successes.
That is so true.
I tell people, hey, Edison, yeah, he didn't make the light bulb on the first try. I think there were 1,200 tries.
And Ford had a whole bunch of patents that never worked.
Yeah, he may have stolen from somebody, but anyway.
All right, Harry, I'm going to stop recording here a little bit.
Okay.
I want to
All
follow up with some conversations, but I really appreciate your time.
Anytime,
And
Brent.
thank you so much.
Yep.
Let me return this off. Stop recording. Oh, stop recording. There we go. Do we want to stop recording?